checking out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big Dog Sports Talk,
Hey, good morning.
lighten up the dark.
If you're seeing Henry the Clown, the camel, Henry the Clown, oh my God, then you know it's Hump-Day Wednesday. Hope you're well, wherever you might be. Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room, also on the Professional Door Incorporated text line. Good morning, Polar, Sandbender, Testa, Latif, Wesley, how are you? Hit us up on our stuff. And also, subscribe, like, and share. We are a friendly community. Got a lot going on. What's up, Prometheus? Stringer of Fire. Coming up, Keon Brown joins us at 6:30. Damian Sordelet on the eve of the ACC media kickoff. White Vic joins us today because he cannot tomorrow. So we're looking forward to that. And then Matt Roan, the director of athletics at James Madison, joins us today. So how's everybody doing? We've gotten to Wednesday. Lovely morning. It's a nice little I won't say it's brisk, but it's really a nice, refreshing, kind of cool morning. It's nice. It's nice. What's up, Hokey Bob? How are you? Good to have you here. Hope you're well. What's up, Prom Rex? All newbies, please subscribe. We have a lot going on today as we slide over the hump from our family fencing studios here in Reiner. Get a free quote today, 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. And our McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Be sure to go back on the channel and look at the video we shot last week where Mark is taking you through all the newest technology. It's really cool. Really, really cool. Thanks, Prom. Appreciate you, man. Thanks, everybody. Zane, how are you? Just drop a subscription. Stop by. We are a friendly community. We have great, our chat is, I think, one of the best ones. I watch a lot of stuff here on YouTube, and there's a lot of bad stuff out there. There's a lot of bad stuff. What's up, Ron Sarkar? Ron Sarkar? Good to see you. Good morning. Thanks, Claire. Appreciate that. Every little bit helps. No, I'm not much of a singer, Ruben. I am when I'm alone, but yeah, you probably wouldn't want that. You probably wouldn't want that. My suggestion is to put on your favorite Spanish Christian artist and enjoy it the way it should be. You don't want me part of that. In no way, shape, or form. Unless I've, had a few beverages. Oh, I didn't. Oh, hang on. I'm a little slow to the grind this morning. To be honest with you. Some days you just feel like your body is just not responding the way that you want. I think that's the way I felt last night. Just one of those days where I didn't feel great. Be sure to visit Sundown Electric down in Elliston, one of the best reputations of any business in our area. Superior craftsmanship, attention to detail, honest, and integrity. Reach out to the folks at Sundown. They are the best. I don't get a chance to watch rugby much, Goonie, but I really like it because it's closest thing, I guess, to American football. I do like rugby. I really, really do. Yep. I'm a big rugby guy, actually. Not that I don't know if I would necessarily get into rugby all the time, but whenever it's on, I will take the time to watch it. Down here at Radford, we have a rugby club team. And I really like to watch those guys practice. You'd be down there by the river. It's where the secondary practice soccer field is. We've had rugby club for a long, long time down at Radford. Long time. So yeah, I dig it. Appreciate the toughness of it. Yeah, I do. I appreciate the physicality of it. Those guys are, they are utterly, completely past everything that they do. And you have to be, because it is a very physical, difficult sport. Without question. So yeah. There we go. Trying to get things to work properly is not necessarily the easiest thing in the StreamYard system. What's up, Chillax? Javoli? Everybody, please subscribe. I think you should. Is it Drek Arnu? Yeah, why not? Why not? I think you should subscribe. All right, don't forget. Here we go. Now is it working? There we go. There's the new one. Boom. This Saturday. Look how colorful that is. We're going to have the BDST Bash at the NRV Super Bowl starting at 6 o'clock. A lot of people are starting to reach out. Morris, thank you so much. We're looking very forward to that. And we will be there, I'm guessing 6 to 9-ish, something like that. Nothing too late. Call them, 540-382-5525. You don't have to reserve a spot. You just come in and ask where the bash is, and they'll tell you. See how happy the party goers are? Isn't that great? And that's coming up this Saturday. Good. Thank you. Thank you, Drek. I'm just going to say Drek if that's cool. Thank you, Chillax, all you folks. ReadySetFund.com. See how you can turn a series of text messages into money you need for your organization, your school group, church, whatever it might be. Bob Chris, BOBCRST11 at Gmail. Floyd County girls softball team raised $4,300, a record $4,300 in an instant, in just a week. Thanks again, Chillax. That's awesome. And I hope everybody stays subscribed. Professional Door Incorporated, we've been talking about them. 40 years in business here in July. Travis Williams in Dublin. And don't forget that they're the best at what they do, first and foremost. But throughout the month of July, if you just call them up at 674-0008 and you schedule your preventative maintenance for your garage door, you get $40 right off the top. You have to tell them you're hearing us talk about it here on the program to get the $40 off. But give Travis a call, 674-0008. And you'll never have anybody else look at your garage doors again. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of me and this program, thanks to Lara Ramsey and everyone involved. This BDST fan question of the week has been crazy. Brought to you by the attorney Ryan Price, 701 West Main Street in Radford, Trust and Estate Planning. So we're asking for summer blockbuster movies. There's too many even to go over. I'm going to have to try to tabulate those here in the next day or two before Friday. It's been fun, though. Thanks for all the answers. You can send those, by the way, to the text line 3910788 or DM me. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. Speaking of getting preventative maintenance, do that for your air and heat units now. So it doesn't cost you nearly as much later. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, presenting sponsor of this program. And we were up there on Friday last week. Blew me away what Jonathan Sweet, who takes me through that thing room by room, segment by segment, and knows exactly every little aspect of every little situation. It blew my mind. Blew my mind. It is going to be absolutely pristine. And peeps are going to love it. And congratulations to everybody involved, Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, for the creation of that thing. It's a monster. It's awesome. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. I think James is definitely going to be at the bash on Saturday, 540-381-8011, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Been in business since 1997, parts for windows, doors, and your plumbing supplies. Great stuff. Great stuff. But, yeah, that's what we've got going on today. Keon Brown, Damian Sordelette. There we go. Dwight Vick and Matt Roan. I mean, that is full throttle entertainment right there now. I mean, you're not just messing around with those four folks joining us. So the All-Star game was last night, and I think nothing really outlines the antithesis of where I'm at in terms of my sports, professional sports, just kind of than the All-Star game having absolutely no interest from me whatsoever. And I hate to say that. I know that a couple of years ago, they finally went back to wearing the uniforms they should, their own uniforms. They had those ridiculous clown outfits for, I don't know, for how long. Nondescript national American. Rob Manfred is destroying the game. He's just destroying the game of baseball. And the owners are letting it happen. Prometheus says, I'm not sure summer blockbusters a thing. Yeah, I think they try to make it a thing, but you're right. You couldn't wait, right? Summertime was, when you go away to the beach, you could find a theater and go watch a movie. But Hollywood is just so out of touch and determined now to do everything but make entertainment, which blows my mind. But we're getting some great answers. It's hard to say even who's winning in this thing because it looks like to me there's 3 movies that are standing out. Star Wars, the original. I like the way people are specifying. Back to the Future and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Those seem to be the 3 they're getting the most. And that's not all, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Well, welcome back, Chillax. Yep. It is Eminem. Yep. Scrappy Coco. How did you know, man? That was my stripper name years ago. Wow. Big fan, I see. From the deep end of Claytor Lake to the short end of a Super Bowl pool stick, we at BDST think this Saturday bash is going to be super slick. Wow, look at Morris bringing it strong. Yeah, we're going to have some fun on Saturday. Coach Elmo, I think Burnup's now showing up definitely. You need to come out just for that. It'd be nice to see some folks and say hello. Yeah, I'm not sure, Prometheus. They might just be going Star Wars in general. I haven't had it separated yet, so I'm going to assume they mean like Empire, Return of the Jedi. Scrappy Coco. I like Scrappy Coco. I watched the real Star Wars. I sure as hell don't give any credence to the Disney Star Wars. Disney destroyed it. Absolutely. They absolutely destroyed it. Oh, cool. All right. So Morris has updated me here. Speaking of the bash, our room is next to the axe throwing room. That sounds appropriate. Oh, my. Star Wars, I didn't mind. The prequels weren't good. The first one was okay. But at least they made an honest effort in those films. Disney didn't do that. Disney was already starting to virtue signal with Rey, who's a horrible character. None of those characters resonate. And of course, she was already better than anybody before her. The whole thing about Luke and the whole thing was the build up to obtaining your expertise and your training in the Force and to be a Jedi, right? That was the whole thing, was the journey to fight through the dark side, to come out on the other end of it, to rehab his father through all that. He had a little moment there, right before he died. But Rey, no, you don't get anything. She just pops up. She already can do all these things better than anybody else. Imagine that. Terrible cast, terrible writing, terrible directing. The sequels destroyed Star Wars. 100%. 100%. You too, Chillax. Thanks again for stopping by, and thanks for subscribing. Scrappy Coco. It's Scrappy Coco Sports Talk. I guess we just went through the immense flop of Supergirl, and now Moana, this live action. I don't know what it is. Why we needed it, I don't know. The Rock looks absolutely ridiculous. He just looks like an old man in a bodysuit. I don't know why we needed that. This is what Disney's become. They're going to have back-to-back massive flops. And the Toy Story did well because it's Toy Story. Whatever. Hokey Bob in the house. Bob, I hope you're there Saturday. Come to the NRV Super Bowl on Saturday, Bob, and hang out. I haven't seen you in too long. We'll be there starting around 6. Coach Elmo's going to be there. Mike Burnup's going to be there. Love to get Roth out there. I'm going to reach out to Bill and see if he can make it out there. I don't know if he's in town or in Florida. I guess he'll be down at the ACC kickoff, won't he? Mike's not going. Those things aren't the same. They're not really – they used to be great for local and regional media. You know, you used to have Radio Row, and I guess they still have it. I don't know. But you could go down there, and it was really cool. That's when I developed my relationship with Bobby Bowden, just randomly, back in the day, 2004. So I don't think it's the same vibe today. It's all made for the TV networks and all the time's taken up. I think it's good for reporters. They can still get what they need, but I'm not sure in terms of broadcast, it's the same opportunity that it used to be. Yeah. They do not. Thanks, Other Wayne, on our professional door text line. There's not a poll, a preseason poll that comes out from the ACC. Like, in other words, they're not going to release a media poll. It doesn't matter, right? They really don't. They're just more fun things to talk about. By the way, we are popping tomorrow night. Big Dog Pop tomorrow night, 6:30-ish, 6:45. I got to decide, probably 6:45 again. And I will reveal my official Virginia Tech record game-by-game prediction, which I am writing about the following morning in the Patriot. We'll give you a sneak preview of what I came up with tomorrow night. So we'll see what you think. You might think I'm just out of my mind, and that's okay. That's okay. A lot of times I think I might be. But yeah, I didn't turn on the bass. I had no interest, and I hate feeling that way. I think I was more bothered that I felt that way. No twerking for me. Sorry. I had no desire to even turn it on. Hell, I was surprised it was actually on a network after the home run hitting contest was on Netflix. Oh, let me go grab Creed. He just showed up for the first time. He'd been gone for, 15 hours. Come on, buddy. Yeah. What are you doing? You all right? Soaking wet. You know the phrase, look what the cat dragged in? Creed is the epitome of that right now. He drug himself in. He's soaking wet. How is he wet? Where have you been? God almighty. Hellion. American League won, by the way, 4-0. Sounded like a real competitive, high-valued contest. I think the American League's won like 11 out of the last 13. Something like that. It's a lot. But yeah, I did not watch, and I don't have any remorse about that. All I see on X, I'm not even following it. All I see on X is apparently more controversy in the World Cup. I think what this has done, it seems like to me that this has had more of a negative effect on Americans and how they feel about. Thanks, Chillax. I appreciate that. And how they really feel about soccer. things that they had that they held dear have been reiterated, especially for me, as opposed to being this showcase and, hey, look, it's now like, oh, wow, officiating's pretty bad, isn't it? Oh, look, they're flopping again. You know? Look, it's fine that our football is different and it was designed by this country and it's representative of this country. Nothing wrong with that. Many nations in the world love our version of football. It's never going to be like, soccer in terms of acceptance and national prominence, but we're just not going to be that country. Sorry. There'll be factions of the nation that are more willing to embrace it, and it's great for youth sports. I don't know about you. My kids played for a little while growing up. They had no interest after a certain time. They went on to something else. Marva talks about that with her daughter. She was so into it. She woke up one day, I don't really like it. I mean, it's an acquired taste. And we have trouble filling all these rosters in terms of, college soccer programs. You look at all the international players, all getting ready to break into soccer calls here in August. And there's going to be so many international players coming over. I like it. I like it from a standpoint of it's great educational opportunity for both the international players, the American players, and Radford gets to be kind of the backdrop of that. To me, I think that's cool. I think the education all those folks get just interacting and being around one another is going to, I think, serve them well going forward, maybe more so than the piece of paper they end up getting, whether it's at Radford or somewhere else. I don't know, but I do like that aspect of it. I like the international aspect of it. I do. And I appreciate the game. I see a lot of things in the games I call, and it blows your mind how talented these kids are. But it's just not something that's going to ever latch on to the American pulse like the rest of the world tries to tell us it needs to be. It's just not. It's great we had the opportunity to host, but ever since we got knocked out, I haven't paid much attention to it other than seeing all the belly aching on X and everything else about it. And there's been a whole lot. But for the most part, yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Summer blockbuster. Agree on Star Wars, Kenny says. Love the original 3, which somehow started 4, 5, and 6, which tells you that George Lucas had a plan, right? Yeah. He started it in the middle for a reason. He did. He started it for a reason. And then it kind of went away from him. Are you talking about the Ted Cruz bill, Prometheus? Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit. I don't think it has any chance whatsoever of passing. I'm of the mindset. I'm for anything that tries to relegate this mess that is college athletics right now. If people are using common sense thought and actually have the best interest of the sports and young people and the universities, I'm all for it, but I don't see anything happening. Exactly, Bob. It's like liver. Soccer's an acquired taste. It is. Keon Brown. We're trying to get him situated here. What's up, KB? Good morning. How are you?
Rick Watson, what's going on, brother? You talking about soccer? I haven't watched a second of the World Cup. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing. It's okay that we don't.
Yeah.
It's just not. And I've given it a shot. It's never going to become part. You've got to just be wired a certain way, I guess.
I get it. I appreciate everybody who watched it. It seemed like more of a trend to me, though, this year because it was here. And I'm not mad at it. But I did love on social media the folks coming to America for the first time and seeing things they've never seen before. I did love that whole trend thingy whenever they went to a restaurant and saw that a burrito was 28 pounds.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I've seen so many international folks talk about how great this country is, yet we have people every day trying to tell us how horrible this country is.
I don't got time for all that. I don't get into that, man. I just live my life and keep it pushing. Whatever happens, happens. I got to adjust. My life is my life.
Exactly. You got to worry about your own house. That's kind of the way it is. Because the world kind of forces you into that early, right?
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to do anything for you. Nobody else really cares,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with. But yeah, I respect it. I think it's cool. I understand it's worldwide. It is the sport of all these other countries, but that's okay. And it's just like I don't have to apologize that I'm a football basketball guy, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to apologize for being soccer fans. I shouldn't have to apologize for what I like, right?
Well, they're certainly the two greatest sports in America. Football is king, obviously. Everybody loves football. Yeah. And basketball is obviously second.
It is.
But, some folks used to love baseball. It's just not the same anymore. It's just not. I was never a baseball guy myself either. I went to my first live baseball game, besides when I was at Radford and we used to support the men's team.
Sure.
I went to a minor league game and the pace was faster than I thought it was going to be, but it was just so hot out there. I'm just watching these guys try to hit this baseball. I'm sweating profusely.
You're like, oh,
I mean, this thing, like, oh my goodness, it was so hot out there. That was the last time. I think that was the last, and it's not the only time I'm going to go because I got to go to a Richmond Squirrels game at least before I hang up and retire from being a baseball guy.
Get you out of next time you're in town. If you're ever in town in the summer, you're gonna jump on a broadcast with me.
I have to. God, they're gonna be like, what this dude talking about?
We'll talk about other things.
Yep. Touchdown Radford.
I hate that last night I had no desire to even turn the baseball all-star game on at all. Not one time did I go, ooh, let me check on it. And I hate feeling that way because I used to love the all-star game growing up. Loved it.
I forgot it was even on, to be honest.
I know.
They used to promote the what's it called, the home run derby.
Netflix. It was on Netflix.
See, there it is then. All right, that's why. Like, I didn't watch baseball, but I used to watch the home run derby.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen one ad or anything, any type of promotion on it. So that's why I went over my head. I had no idea where at that time.
I know. I'm with you. Hey, our BDST fan question of the week is about blockbuster summer movies. Now, take us back. What are some of the big blockbuster movies from your generation? Because people are going further back, obviously, closer to my generation. What were some of yours you remember?
Space Jam: A New Legacy with LeBron James. That comes to the top of the head.
That's never going to be, one. That's not going to be an all-time summer blockbuster. Let's put it that way.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Jaws and Star Wars.
I was born in 92.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
So I remember 96 and forward. So I'm going to have to think about that one for a second. But
I know.
I mean, fairly recently, when I was at Radford, like Avengers was a blockbuster movie, like an Infinity War. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Black Panther was a big one. The Batman movies were always huge.
They were
blockbusters. I'm trying to think of Jumanji with
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
Yeah, that was
Jumanji was a big one. I remember that one. That's a great one because so many of the classic movies came out in the 80s, early 90s that I probably barely missed. The Back to the Futures and the those big ones like that.
Yeah, exactly.
What's been some responses you've heard so far?
I'm getting a lot of that. Back to the Future's gotten a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah.
A lot of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
See, those are classics.
Jaws, the Mission Impossible. I mean, it's all over the place. It's going to take a while to have to tabulate these.
Yeah, blockbuster. That's a different. See, it's one thing to be a blockbuster. It's another thing to be a movie that comes out, just gets a cult following and does well.
Yes,
you expect it.
100%.
That's why that's a really good question.
It is. That was all Wayne.
It came out, was big on the promotion, big on the advertisement, and hit on it when it was in the movie theaters as well.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, where you thought you just had to see it, and now I don't think Hollywood makes anything ever go, boy, I have to see that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like it comes out, it does well because the fans talk about it on social media, but that's the reason it's big. It's not big because, it's what it used to be. But I think that's the thing of social media as well. A lot of people get turned off by others' opinions as well. Instead of going to see something for yourself.
Go see it. That's right.
See it for yourself and get your own opinion from it.
Correct.
Somebody said, well, he didn't like it. I'm not going to go see it.
That's right. And you don't want to ever do that.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't do that. I base it and judge it based on my ears, my eyes.
Yep. That's right. And the latest was just this past weekend. A friend of mine goes, hey, I'll pay your way. You want to go see Supergirl? I said, no, but I will, because it's as bad as I've heard it was. And it was, you almost want to just walk out of the theater. It's so bad.
Yeah.
It is. There's not one redeeming quality to Supergirl. Not one. So don't ever waste your time. Wait till you're ever flipping around. It comes on streaming or something.
See, that's over my head. So I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. See, there you go. And you don't need. You'll never need to know. You'll never
heard of it.
You'll never need to know. All right. So last week I talked to 3 different Big South coaches, and they said it is worse now than it ever has been.
Yeah.
And going out and talking to kids, and no longer kids and their families, KB, kids and their handlers.
Ooh, there we go.
And they said, I said, so how much would you weigh it once you create a relationship as opposed to money? And they all said the same thing. Oh, it's all about the money. The relationship's secondary and can be created after they find out how they're going to be taken care of. It's gotten even beyond what they thought this thing was going to turn into. So what in the world can be done? What's going to happen? What's the next evolution of this? If it's
hopefully the kids are realistic, right? It's the Big South, not the Big Ten. That's the first thing I hope they understand.
They're not.
Yeah, right? Don't come in here asking for $500,000 in the Big South. Just don't do it, right? Some of these schools have, good finances. I get it. But it's one, maybe two. And I'm being nice saying that. It's not the same as what it was 2 years ago when teams were competing with each other, having great budgets. Nope. There's one team in the Big South, and we all know who that's going to be. Or who we all know who that is.
Yep.
And they're in North Carolina. And they're probably going to go undefeated because they have resources that the other schools in the league don't have this year. That's what it is. So be realistic. Now you got to think of it this way. You got to go recruit, and you got to recruit players that you're not going to get. Because what's going to happen is in the future, they're going to be unhappy with the situation that they're in whatever school they pick. Then they're going to go to the transfer portal and say, well, we talked to you
that's a good
years
point.
ago when we wanted you. Now we want you now that you're available. What can we do for you? We can't offer you what you got offered to go play at Iowa or Iowa State or whatever school you come from. But you can use us, and we talked about this too, Rick. You can use us to be the best player that you can be and then go back in the portal and get your money from somewhere else. That's what a lot of folks are doing. A lot of players are doing, using these programs. Now, that's the pitch. I get it. You want your money now. But if you're asking us for the money and we're recruiting you at this level, I don't think there's many other schools that want you that bad. If you're coming over here asking for that. That's what I hear. If you
I think that's accurate. Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah.
This is the Big South. Why are you coming to the Big South school asking for X, Y, and Z? Why are you not asking from Maryland, Virginia, whatever the case may be?
They know they need one more step. That's why.
Right.
They know they need one more season to showcase it, right? And then, like the guys who left our program last year, that's what they were doing. And look where they all ended up.
Radford has the best. I mean, I don't know if this is bragging or anything, but Radford has the best guys who went into the transfer portal and went somewhere took a step up.
Yeah, we're a farm system.
Right.
That's who we are.
Yeah.
We're a farm system now.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all
Yep.
it is. Well, I can even get over the outrageous money amounts. I think for me, as an administrator at the university, and I think about you and all the players before you and right after, you just don't have that relationship anymore. You came to Radford because you wanted to be at Radford, you wanted to get an education. I mean, I'm not, Dan, this isn't a slight on the current team. I haven't even met them yet, but they're not there because it's Radford. They're not going to be Highlanders, right?
Yeah, it's rare that you see that now. It just is. When I was at Radford, it was a community. When I was at Radford and I did my grocery shopping, I went to Kroger. Everybody knew who I was. Everyone made sure I was okay mentally, physically, emotionally, just seeing how I was doing. And they got to do that for 4 years. And they got to see me grow.
Yes.
And now you're not going to see anybody grow. And it's great for the community to be able to see that. To say, I remember when he came here 3-4 years ago, and now look where he is.
Right.
Now he's about to graduate. Now he's about to be somebody in society. The basketball is going to stop dribbling. So I understand that's why some people are trying to squeeze as much money as they can out of it.
Sure.
At the same day, at the end of the day, you have to be an adult, and you're going to have to make adult decisions. And what you do in college is going to directly affect you as soon as your eligibility runs out, because it's going to run out. So yeah, I get it, man. I get it. Radford was great. People still talk to me from Radford. Still to this day. I can go to Radford right now, go to the Kroger, go to the Walmart, wherever the case may be, and somebody's going to recognize me.
Yeah, they're going to go, exactly.
It's going to happen. It just is. But
and I know, and I know that's where we are. And this isn't the usual complaining about other stuff. It's just, it's taken that away, that whole thing away. And it's just different. It's just very different. There's not going to, it's like I always ask, we always talk about from Virginia Tech football, the greatest players who are true Hokies, and who's going to embody that going forward. I mean, how long are guys going to stay? It's the same thing for bigger programs too, not just us, but we feel it more because those relationships are what mid-majors value. That's what we have that maybe because we're smaller that the other, places don't have,
Yeah. But with those smaller schools, that's what it is. It's that community feel. Like that, every school in the Big South, I will say, has that feeling.
It does.
Even though the players are different now because guys are 1 year rentals, the community still takes pride in Radford. The community still takes pride in Farmville, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
The community still takes pride in Rock Hill for Winthrop.
It does.
I mean, that's just what it is. And that'll never go anywhere. So when you see these rivalries, and for example, off the top of my head, Richmond and VCU, it doesn't mean the same for the players at all, but it's still the same for the communities. That private sector of Richmond and the downtown feeling of VCU, those fans still have that rivalry. The players may not, but at least the community has it. And if that dies out, then college sports are really in trouble.
No, that's a great point. The rivalries are there for the fans, not for the current.
No.
And it's the same thing in pro sports too. There's no rivalries in pro sports anymore.
Couldn't care any less. They could not care any less.
Yeah. And we had that taken away from us because it used not to be that way. Fans would create the whole UVA Tech thing, but how many of those players really, if you're coming from a different place and you've been to 2 or 3 other schools, okay, I hear that UVA is the big rival. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of emotion is there for the players? There's not as much at stake. Yeah.
Yeah, there's none because at the end of the day, when the season's over, I'm leaving here anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
So it doesn't matter to me. I remember we used to play Liberty. Liberty and Radford meant something. Even Liberty and Walmart meant something.
Yes.
Like it meant something to beat Liberty. It really did. That's why when they thought they had it in 2019, before Carleigh Jones hit that shot, that hurt Liberty.
Oh my gosh!
I know they still lose sleep over that. I know they do.
Oh, there's no question they do. They go back to that shot every day. Yep. Yeah.
Talked to Coach Getter, who was my coach at Radford, went over to Liberty with Coach McKay. Now he's the head coach at Cal Baptist. So we talk about Coach KG. We're still so proud of him for that.
I know.
I mean, that was heartbreaking for him to have to go back to the program in the building that he used to coach and lose that way. I mean,
right.
That meant something.
And,
oh man,
and it doesn't mean as much to coaches either. It's the same thing with coaches. Rivalries don't mean anything to these coaches that just jump around too. It's they come into it. Oh, we understand the rivalry. Like James Franklin's coming to Blacksburg. He doesn't understand the Tech Virginia rivalry.
No,
He's not part of it, right?
No.
He's just an example. Like, you think Lane Kiffin cares really about any of the rivalries in the SEC?
Yeah.
right.
Now, at least with the old North Carolina and Duke rivalry, you had folks who coached that were quote unquote in the family.
Yes.
So you could feel that.
Yeah.
That was one that was still there. And it was basically because of the coaches. But now you got Mike Malone in there. He doesn't. I still don't think he understands.
No.
He doesn't. Now, he tries to have as many of the old former players in there as possible, but you not living it, they lived it. So you don't feel it like they do, buddy.
No, they understand how big the game is. They'll say that. They'll say all the things out loud, publicly. Oh, this is but they don't take it to heart. They know they have to win it to keep the fan base and the administration off their backs, but that doesn't mean that they care much about the rivalry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because recruiting used to be tied into the rivalry so much. Like,
exactly.
Like,
if Duke recruited them, we have to recruit. We have
correct. If we win that game and we dominate them, that's going to give us a leg up. But now with the money situation, that doesn't enter the minds of these kids nearly as often as it used to.
Yeah, money is king right now in college athletics.
I mean, and that's just the way it is. And again, this isn't necessarily belly aching. This is just following up on conversations I just had with a lot of people in our league that I respect that deal with this daily. Yeah,
I get it. And still have to compete with High Point at the end of the day. Still have to compete with that monster over there because that's what it is. At least the last 2 years, the playing field was a little bit leveled. And you thought that High Point could lose, even though they had the most talent or whatever. You thought they still could lose. This year, I really feel confident that they will go undefeated in conference play. I don't know why I wake up every day thinking about that. Whenever I see High Point, is these guys are going to go undefeated in conference play this year. It's just not the same in the league.
Well, also the consensus I got from the coach, they think this will be their last year in the Big South.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see if that happens or not.
Yeah, we can see that. I can see that happening too. Well, that'll be 3 in a row.
If they pull it off, yes, it would be 3 in a row. After never winning it before, they would have.
Yeah. So the new landscape of college basketball has helped High Point.
Correct, because they've operated that way for a while, and now they just fall right into it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you look at that schedule when we talk about it, they have a lot of Atlantic 10 opponents are on their schedule.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a lot from them this year.
That seems to be what everyone thinks is
right.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And they can compete now, in my opinion. They can be a mid-tier.
They can.
10 team. In my opinion, they can be.
They focused on the wrong league before because it's so football driven. They wanted to be in the Southern Conference, but that's too much of a football driven league.
It is, and I still think SoCon's a really good league. I love the SoCon.
I do too. It's a great basketball league. 100%.
I still think High Point's a bit above them though.
The A10 feels like it's more
right. The A10 feels right. A10 feels right. Maybe even the Conference USA. But one of those two leagues like that, they feel right to me. SoCon still feels close to a Big South, in my opinion. Maybe they have a little bit more resources within their programs, but pound for pound, bar for bar over the last few years, the Big South definitely competes with the SoCon. Over the last decade or so, I say definitely.
What can the Big South do? All right, say that's going to happen. That's going to be a big blow to the league. I mean, I'm sorry. I know people get tired of seeing High Point win, but that's going to be a massive blow to the Big South if they head out, which they're going to head out. I know the president's been working on it now for about the last 4 years, and I think he's finally sounds like through back channels that the deal is coming together to go into the A10. So what can the Big South do to counter? Who's out there? I mean, the MEAC would make sense. Some of those schools there, but they don't want to break. And I get it. I understand that.
You don't break that tradition.
The HBCU, they're not going to break that. Yeah.
Yes. Talking about HBCUs in this current state of college basketball, their fans are always going to be their fans.
I know.
They're always going to have a fish fry in the middle of the game. They're always going to have that music rocking. Those fans are always going to be there. I was fortunate enough last season to, cover several games for multiple HBCUs, and the atmosphere was always great there. It was always great. No matter if it was Christmas break, it was a rivalry. This year, I got Norfolk State and Hampton. That's going to be crazy, the battle of the 757. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that atmosphere. That's going to be the same, but the Big South really can do nothing. I'm already still mad that you got to go to Johnson City, Tennessee, just for the tournament. That still bothers me. Nothing's out in Johnson City but Billy Bob's Wonderland, and that's just only one of those left.
Sure.
Play your banjo out there if you want to.
You come out and do a game this year with, we'll go to Billy Bob's after the first year. What do you say? You and me.
Billy Bob's retro. That stuff hasn't been out since the early 80s.
But I don't know what they do, since to me, I think North Carolina Central makes perfect sense, but they're not going to break it. They're not going to break uh-oh, did Keon freeze up on me there? Let's see here. Looks like Keon froze up on me there. KB, what happened? Oh, my goodness. Mr. Freeze got him. I don't know what happened with KB there. Can everybody see me okay? Are we good on our end? Did something happen with KB? Let's see here. Let's see if we can get him back. Something happened there with Keon. Trying to see here on my diagnostics check. Make sure we're good to go. Yeah, everything's good here. Everything's good here. I think that may have been on his end. Let's see here. There he is.
Yeah, man, I don't know what.
It was like Mr. Freeze came in, and you were stunned. Yeah, you were just stunned.
Trust me, I always got you on in the background.
Hey, look at me. There's an ugly guy. So yeah,
it's supposed to be another heat wave today.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be hot here too. Yeah. So North Carolina Central would be great.
Yeah,
and you talk about that environment. We went down there randomly a couple of years ago, right? Return game when Darius was head coach. Middle of the week, and there's something about, you're right, the HBCU atmosphere. Everybody's very nice, but boy, they're just into the whole thing. And it was loud, the band, the cheerleader, they have the dancers in the stands.
Yes.
It was great. And I'm thinking
it's nothing like it.
They would be so good for the league, and and I get it. I appreciate, in today's world of college athletics where there's no loyalty to anything but money, I love the fact that those schools have unified and saying, we are not going to break. This means more. This means a lot more than just money all the time.
And that league was so heartbroken when Hampton and when North Carolina A&T decided to leave the conference, because they went to the Big South at first, and now they're in the CAA, and it was just so disappointing for that whole league. I still remember my junior year. The CBI, we had to go to Delaware State. In the middle of the game, like they just had a door cracked open. They were frying fish because the aroma and the thickness of that fish frying.
I remember that.
Suffocated the gym. So we were taking the basketball out, and I was taking it out. I said, can you please save me a 3-piece? And they thought I was joking. And they started laughing because it was in the middle of the game. I promise you it was in the middle of the game. It was not like a dead ball. It was like the ball rolled over there. I said, save me a 3-piece, please. We beat them. I come back out. What do you think they had for me over there?
You had a 3-piece.
I got a 3-piece.
You're ready to go.
I got a 3-piece. I'll never forget. That's a true story. That is a real story. That's a real story. Only at HBCUs can you do that.
I know. Right. I remember that game. Yeah. Where did we go after that game? After we beat Delaware State?
We went to Vermont.
That's right. That was the Woo game.
Yeah. Vermont was, oh man, you talking now? Those areas like that will always have love for their fan base too.
Yeah,
man. Remember, it was like 12 minutes left. There was nobody in the gym. 11 minutes left with warm-ups.
And warm-ups, yeah.
And warm-ups. 12 minutes there were nobody in the gym.
You're right. You're right.
Everybody started filing in, and it was so crowded in there.
Unreal. Yeah, well, you're right, because I remember doing pregame.
Yes.
And I remember you guys were coming over shooting. You were warming up in front of where we were setting up, and I'm like, "Where is everybody?" I heard this place was a terrific, and I'm like, "Yeah." And then 3 minutes before, when you come back out, you're like, it is just.
Yes, just people on top of each other. It's like an old school, high school gym, but bigger. And, oh, man. Yeah, they were loud. They were ready for that game.
That's the game Wu went off, and they gave him a standing ovation at the end. Remember that?
So, yeah.
His last collegiate game, he walked through a big group of fans, and they just started.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this guy. I don't know what he had that night. He went off that night. He was Wu.
Yep.
That night, and he did like a little bow. You know, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some memories in college. See, that's the thing also with this day and age. Guys won't get the experience of growing up with one another as well.
No. That's right.
As soon as we came on that campus, it was me, Rashawn, Jawan, the rest of the freshmen, so many of us, Lucas Dyer.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys, the RJs. I knew RJ way before Radford, though, because he's a Richmond guy. The Woos, those guys just put us under their wing as soon as we stepped on campus. You would have thought we played with those guys for years. Like, they treated us like brothers within an hour of knowing them.
Right, and then you became real brothers,
right,
through the years, right?
Yeah, and our team was so young because we were freshmen we were all freshmen and sophomore, and we didn't know what we didn't know as freshmen. So, not knowing what we didn't know, we just went out there and played as hard as possible.
Yeah.
We were always undermanned. We were always so youthful against our opponents, but hey, we didn't care. We just tried our best and tried to win. And that's how we grew every year. We maybe won, 14, maybe 15 games my freshman year. The next 2 years, back-to-back 23 wins. And the snap of the finger. That's because we liked each other.
Exactly.
Well,
and coaches who are invested in you as people, not just as investments. Hey, how much are you going to cost for this one year? Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We grew. Yeah. We were allowed to grow. We were allowed to make mistakes. And that sophomore year, we were one of those teams that you'll watch a college basketball game and you'll see 7 players on the roster average between 8 and 13.5 points.
Yeah.
It was one of those teams where anybody could have their night any given night.
Yep.
That was fun.
Yeah, that Mike Jones guy was pretty good, wasn't he?
He was pretty good. Yeah.
By the way, before we let you go, did your wife get back from the concert okay? Everything okay?
Yeah, she did. So she was gone for 3 days. I said, you're going to be gone for 3 days for a concert that's only a couple of miles away? Enjoy yourself. Just do your thing. You won't.
How many times did you leave the LeBron room?
A few times because I had my daughter.
Oh, okay. That's true.
I was on daddy duty from pretty much Friday afternoon to Sunday.
Let's say she wasn't there too. Then how many times would you have left the LeBron room?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been many at all. You got everything you need right here. The kitchen's just right up the stairs. You got everything you need here. Everything. There's a bathroom right there. Man, everything you need is here. The TV's huge. What I like about it down here too is if I'm watching a really good movie, I can turn the lights off. It gets pitch black down here.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like pitch black.
Yeah, that's the only way to watch a movie.
Yeah.
But then I get sleepy.
Yeah. Oh no, that's me. That's me. That's been my thing so far during this quote unquote break I've got right now.
You just kind of nap.
As soon as we get off here, like I said, I go to the gym, work out hard, come back, get directly in the shower, eat, and then I'm just dozing off.
Yeah.
Whenever I get here, and I usually wake up about 1 o'clock, and then I get what I need to get done for the day in the house. I start on that.
The best naps are the ones that you do not you're not even thinking about.
Yeah.
And you're just you're not planning them. And all of a sudden you wake up and it's 20 minutes later. You're like, I feel great.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm still taking advantage too. I still got after this week, I still got 2 weeks. So I'm still taking advantage. I'm slowly but surely seeing these emails start to file in for school, talking about
and you're like,
school night, August 4th.
No.
You got to be here all night on August 4th to meet the families of the kids and all this stuff. You'll be at the school from 9 o'clock to 7:45 p.m. So it's back. But the thing with me doing summer school, I'm still in rhythm. A lot of those teachers are going to be really pissed off when they really got to wake up consistently. I'm good. I'm still in rhythm. I'm still waking up at 5 a.m. every day. I'm still good. It's still easy for me.
Christian says it was fun to watch you play in college, Keon. There you go.
Oh,
See?
man, I appreciate that.
Somebody followed you. See, that's exactly what you're talking about. What you're talking about. So, well, all right, brother. Have a great rest of the week, man.
All right, bro.
Good stuff as always.
Yeah, man. Fun times. This is the good thing about summer. Basketball slows down, but we get to talk about experiences. And
yeah, I know, man. It's
like
a nice reminder. Yeah, and you're the epitome. That whole class that you were part of is the epitome of what Radford means. You know, that job and everything means right there. Yeah, we had a couple more after that, but we don't have it anymore.
Yeah,
just don't have it.
Yeah, man.
So, all right, brother. Stay safe, man.
All right, bro.
Enjoy your workout and your nap.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Will
Take
do.
care. All right, man. Keon Brown joining us on the program. I wish Keon could come to the Bash. He lives a long way away. I would love to have Keon at the Bash. I would love to have him there on Saturday night. But I know, there's a lot of folks who would love to be there. Like Dwight would love to be there. But it's just a long way. Yeah. Damian Sordelette going to join us next. We'll get can you even preview a media day? We'll ask him what he's looking for out of media day. How's that? I got over even Big South media days years ago. I used to always try to go, and now I don't ever go. Unless they're paying me to cover something, and then I'll go. But I don't need to. I don't need to go. Dwight Vick today, by the way, because Dwight's got an eye appointment tomorrow. And then Matt Roan, Director of Athletics at James Madison. Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, that's a good question. You know, Wayne, that's weird you say that. I was talking about that with a couple of Radford Hall of Famers last week. What's the Hall of Fame? How's that going to look? And I don't know. There's so many backlog people you could put in that deserve it. Let's say you get caught up in 20 years and we still have this system in place. How do those credentials change for things like that in the University Hall of Fame? Now, there won't be any more retired jerseys because you can't just do it on 1 year. Prioritize, Madmore says to Keon. Be like Elmo. That's right. Yeah, it's true. Look, there are no more Hokies. There are no more Highlanders. There's no more Georgia Bulldogs. There's no more, boy, he's a Bulldog. He's a Crimson Tide. He's a Wildcat. No. You just have to just accept what it is. You root for them if your fanship. You root for them like you always did, I guess, but it's different. But you just have to realize it's just not the same. And it hits a little harder for us here at Radford. It does. You still have those relationships more with the non-basketball sports. But, yeah. Yeah, you learn nothing out of media days. It's all just hype. It's all marketing. It's all, hey, look at us. Yeah, it's all the same. Now, I'm not sure Damian's going to be able to join us because I know he's either traveling or getting settled in media days. So we'll see if he's able to jump on here. I didn't check with him, so that's my fault. I just assumed he'd be okay. Leaves room for you to go to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't see me being in the Hall of Fame, but it is true for the athletes, so it's going to be different. I'm sure Dennis Parker Jr. cost a little cash. Yeah, he did. He did. But that was a different scenario surrounding all that. We're not that anymore. That was 1 year and out. Of course, Dennis Parker ended up at Kansas for Bill Self. So that's what I was going to talk to Damian about that, but I don't think Damian, now that I think about it, I think Damian said he may not be able to join us today. Yeah, they hired a guy from Georgia come in and be the Hokie Club fundraiser. That's now 3 fundraisers in a row. Remember what I was told months ago by someone over there? Money laundering scheme. Rick Watson court at the Dedman Center. I am starting a campaign. You know what would be cool? It'd be cool if it was like all I would ever want would be like the Rick Watson courtside broadcast position. That would be cool. Right? To have like a dedicated spot for all the future Radford broadcasters and to have it, that would be cool. That's all I want. I mean, nobody's going to do as long as I have, year 26. Christian says, the more I look into Clemson's roster in depth, I believe it'll be another 6-win season. Well, I went through tomorrow night on Pop. I'm going to debut my game-by-game prediction. And I did look at Clemson very closely. This is, I think, a pivotal year. All of a sudden, they're underdogs in the league that they ruled for so long. And they are no longer held in that kind of esteem. And really, Dabo Swinney, he can't blame anybody but himself. Because the one thing about all these other coaches of these programs, and I don't know if Clemson's a blue blood. Probably I wouldn't think they're a blue blood, but they have been modernly very successful over the last 30 to 40 years. Maybe they are. I don't know. But they have adapted to the new way of doing things pretty well. They knew they had to evolve or die. Something Darius Nichols told me 4 years ago. He saw all this coming. And Clemson fought it, and they kept fighting it, and, he still fights it. And it put them behind the 8 ball. Cade Klubnik was not the guy that they had hoped he would be. We kept hearing comparisons to Trevor Lawrence. Never happened. Now, he got drafted in the 4th round. Maybe he'll develop into a guy who could be a good clipboard holder. Maybe he develops into a good NFL quarterback. I don't know. But he didn't elevate that program to where they had hoped. I mean, what identified Clemson's program was Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence being the 2 best college quarterbacks in the country at the time. And now the kid they have coming in is unproven. They hope he's that guy. It's going to be tough for Tech to go to Death Valley. I get it. But I just don't think that same aura is there around that program. Miami, I read 3 different breakdowns of Miami's roster. And with the Mensa kid coming in from Duke, $2,000-yard receivers returning, 1,000-yard running back. They recruited some massive guys on both sides of the line. Miami is going to be better this year than they were last year, at least on paper going into the season. Miami looks like, without question, they're ready to go beyond losing the national championship game and winning it this year. It looks like Mario Cristobal has finally taken hold. And Miami Gardens is going to be rocking in 2026. Yeah, they did get Low Country. Clemson did get Chad Morris back. The offensive coordinator came back, and he was the guy that was really, before Tony Elliott, he was that guy. So that's a big thing for Dabo. He never recovered as well from losing his 2 coordinators. lost him the same year, and he never was able to plug and play there either. And that was a big loss for him. It shows you how much he needed those guys. Yeah, the football, that's a good point for me. I mean, some programs in college basketball are always blue bloods, are just more identified. I think in football, it does kind of evolve. Like, we don't look at Nebraska, Penn State, the same. Notre Dame, we broke down Notre Dame yesterday. What's up, T-Bird? How are you? Aren't you at the beach? I'm sorry. I'm messaging him now, Damien. By the way, I won't get into all the details, but Phil Steele will be back on the program on the 28th of July. Didn't look like that was going to happen, and maybe I'll get into it on a pop show. But all the things that were preventing him from coming on are now behind us. So we're ready to go on the 28th. Sometimes common sense just pops into things. But yeah, we're good to go now. So I'll talk more about that. What the hell's today's date? The 15th. So we're looking at 2 weeks from now. He'll be with us. Preview the ACC. And I'm going to ask him first thing, what's up with his magazine? How do you do this now? How in the world do you do this? T-Bird says, yep, sitting on the balcony watching for Dolphins eating a Jimmy Dean biscuit. Your day, T-Bird, is going to be better than anybody else's. Congratulations. Morning, Mark. How are you? You selling winners on college football, your handicap? No, I'm not allowed to do any gambling. Being part of a Division I athletic department, they frown on that mightily. So, no, I do not. Do I mind talking about it? I do not. They frown on that too, but I will throw out some advice from time to time. But yeah, Miami on paper, I think Mensa is going to be better than Carson Beck. So, yeah. People better not sleep on SMU. That's going to be a tough couple weeks for Tech. I'll say this without giving too much away on my predictions that I'll unveil tomorrow night. And honestly, I think I had to go and look at it 2 or 3 times, but this is my conclusion. If you look at the 2026 schedule, I believe there are only 4 games that are gimmies. 2 in Tech's favor and 2 that will go against them. VMI and Old Dominion are gimmies in the win column. And I think going to SMU and Miami are gimmies in the loss column. I think the other 8 games, at least on paper, and I'm counting Clemson. I don't know. Clemson. I don't know Clemson anymore. We used to know Clemson football. It had an identity. Dabo has allowed that identity to completely subside. It is not the same. No, Miami's got a really good defense. They portaled out defensively. At least what I read. Over, under, Rick bowling 180? Under. I haven't been bowling, I don't know how many years. Wow. No, Wayne, I won't be using the bumpers. I may bounce a few out of the gutter, but I won't be using the bumpers. Not so fast, my friend. Tech is going to win the A's. That's right, Morris. I keep forgetting. Low Country says, I think you're spot on. 2-2 with those games. Right. And then the other 8, if they all turn into positives for Tech, that's a 10-win season. I'm just saying. And I really looked at them. You'd be proud of me. I didn't just blindly go through and say, boom, boom, boom. I went through and I kind of looked at each team and you look at what you think Tech has, and you're like, there's so much uncertainty out of there. Right? So we'll see. Just a dinosaur ate in the kiddos. That's right. Yeah, give me that. Wade says Tech got to start 4-0 to get momentum. Then if they go 500 after that, good season. Yeah, the Maryland game we talked about, it's the trigger game. Yep. Brandon, whenever I have success, that's all it is, man. The straight ball. I cannot get that thing to curve, and when I try, it ends up being worse. What's up, Eddie? Eddie on the text line. Where will Miami be in the preseason? You would think they'd definitely be in the top 10. I don't know. There's always bias with those stupid polls. Who knows? They'll be SEC, Big Ten heavy. Yep. Yeah, Pittsburgh will be – everybody loves Pittsburgh. I didn't see anything breaking them down. It makes me think maybe we're missing something. I don't know. Pitt has the first month of the season at home. So they're going to have 4 games at home, and then their first trip is to Blacksburg. And I don't think that's a good recipe for success, that's your first road game as a new team. Well, no, Prometheus, you're not drinking the Kool-Aid. We're just looking at the damn facts, right? They played in the national championship game last year. They reloaded in the portal. His program may have arrived. This isn't talking about Miami in generalities like before. I'm not a Kool-Aid drinker. I actually do my research. So it's not like I'm just saying, oh, Miami, oh, my God, the orange and green. No, this is looking at what they added, breaking it down, and what they've done, the money they have coming in. I mean, Dwight and I have talked about for years we don't get into the Miami hype because that's all it was before was hype. Last year, they backed it up. Sometimes programs take a little while to arrive, and this is why they brought in Cristobal, right? This is why he was there, is what he did at Oregon, right? No, not in a bowling league. Nobody would ever ask me to be in a bowling league, Brandon. Trust me. My mom could bowl now. My mom was amazing. It was crazy. Not a lot of power, but she could do that whole thing. It was crazy, man. But we'll have that tomorrow night on Pop. I'll save it for tomorrow. But I will say that's the only hint that I will give. There were 2 games that were give-me's the first 2, just like next year, playing the Citadel and Liberty. Hey, you got to love that, season ticket holders. And then I think going to SMU and Miami will be losses. The portal, well, there's been an ability to transfer for years, Mark, but as we know it, the uncensored, able to move from place to place, what, last 5 years, right? Is that about right? That we've seen this uncontrolled chaos? Yeah, it's been about 5 years, 6 years, because it was coming in when I started the show back during COVID in 2020 on the radio. Because I remember sitting there talking about how this was going to look and going through it that way. So yeah, it was around that time. At least as we know it today, beyond specific, transfer rules and all that. So yeah, it's different. It is definitely different. Now, when does this change? I don't think there's any way it's changing anytime soon. Yeah, it started to kick in around the COVID era, but then again, everything was shut down, so you couldn't really – it didn't really take hold until after all that when college football started again. And remember, it was Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields who get a lot of credit for kick-starting college sports again, college football. Yeah. Morris says, I'll train you, Rick. Throw the damn ball as hard as you can. Create pin chaos. Hope for the best. Yeah, that's all I've ever done. You just try to keep it in the lane, and then hopefully you'll get some deflections, or maybe you throw it hard enough, you'll get some. But yeah, it got started. Yeah, I think Wayne's right. It got started right before all that, and then it just stopped because everything stopped. So, yeah. And then it kicked in right after we got going again, man. It was just boom. Here we go. It was originally a digital compliance tool. There you go. So, yeah, 2021. There we go. 2020. Yeah. So we got going after COVID. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. And now it's just preposterous. It really is. Preposterous. Yep. But so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the season goes in so many different places beyond Blacksburg. Just look at the ACC. There's a lot of things that you just don't know about. I don't know how UVA is going to bounce into the new season after last year. Clemson, we've talked about. Is Florida State just basically? Did you see they just fired her? They just hired Herman, who got fired. It feels like Florida State is in a situation of, I don't know if the buyout changes in the middle of the year as opposed to being fired at the end of the year. Are they going to be good? Can he salvage it? Hey, what's going on? How are you? Appreciate that. Florida State intrigues me with Mike Norvell. Does he know he's dead man walking? Or does he have a team that might end up being better than you think? I think Duke's in a lot of trouble this year. Boston College, 2 wins last year. They didn't come out of spring with a number one quarterback. They have 2 or 3 guys they still like. And that's Tech's first conference game. They go on the road. That feels like that'll be something that they'll get through. Yeah, I did see that new stadium. It's kind of cool. They know what they are, right? It's only like 45,000 seats, Northwestern, but it's nice. It's nice. Yeah, we mentioned that, Wayne. We did. Another fundraiser. Yay. Didn't Confucius say, "He who can't bowl was born to curl"? No, broadcasting curling and actually doing, the whole curling thing, that's different. NC State's kind of just out there in the desert. I think Carolina's terrible. I don't think there's going to be a lot of teams that I don't think are going to do a lot to help the ACC this year. What's up, Chillax? Really like Scrappy Coco. I think that's my new secondary name. Yeah, that's kind of the way I feel about it, Wayne. And I just have to keep asking people, what motivates you now to keep giving? I don't understand. I believe it is not just at Tech. I think it's a money laundering scheme. I just don't understand. When there's no end and no goal to it. By the way, I'm going to tell you this too. I talked to quite a few coaches, both football and basketball. They're telling me the most overrated thing you hear about from schools is facilities. Like, I know Tech is behind and they need to figure out some things to upgrade, and there's a certain way Franklin wants it to look. But they go, these kids today, it's not the same as it was before this era. Before, all the money that you would raise would be renovations to the locker room. Let's build a new field house. We got to do this to the stadium, right? Tech's still behind in their stadium renovations. Everybody complains about Castle. All right. That's where all this money used to go. You had a goal. You'd go out and you'd talk to donors. We need to get X amount of dollars. We need to have X amount of dollars so we can build this project, so we can help attract recruits when they get here. We need to upgrade our strength facilities, our training facilities, whatever it is. The coaches are telling me nobody is worried about that now, because all this money has to go to one thing. And you know what it is. Let's all say it together. The purchasing of your roster. Facilities used to be the showcase at all these places, and there's some places that still have so much money they can upgrade. They can do all these things. But now, all that money is going to one thing. Thank you, Kitsune. I appreciate that. Yeah, Scrappy Coco started today. I have no idea why, but I kind of like it. Low Country says hard to get a read on FSU. Yeah, exactly. They do have talent. They're always going to have talent. They do have a good quarterback. I don't know where they sit on the hierarchy of things. I'm with you. Doing us now on the program. And I know people are saying, wait a minute, I didn't know it was Thursday. No, it's not. It's Wednesday because this gentleman, Dwight Vicks, got a little appointment in the morning. Yeah, thanks for adjusting your schedule, DV. Good to have you, man.
Yes, sir. Good morning, man. I'm glad we can call an audible and get the play.
We did call an audible. We did.
I got a eye doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. Normally I don't do mine in the morning. I do them later in the day, but getting it dilating and doing all that stuff, making sure my retina's good. So I want to knock that out in the morning. But yeah, man, I just heard you talking about facilities and stuff.
Yeah, I've had coaches tell me how that is no longer like some places it is. And I know we're talking about where this money's going. Tech just, they're talking about this Georgia fundraiser, bringing in a Hokie club. The last 3 hires, it's all been about money, 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 money. Well, I'm being told by football and basketball coaches, facilities, you can talk about them all you want, but that's not what people are concerned about now. These kids don't come in and go, I don't know, man, that low hanging ceiling really bothered me. I don't know. That dumbbell over there is not what it's all about. Paying players is what the point is, right? It's evolved beyond that. Whereas, when you were coming in, right, you saw facility upgrades all over the place, all over the country. And yes, it still happens, but that's not what these kids are thinking about.
No, you're right. I mean, I know from a basketball standpoint, you really want a nice arena to play in. You want the energy from the crowd. Like, you check for that. The schedule is always going to be a big deal because you're playing against other comp. But you know what? To be real with you, even when I played long time ago in the 90s, the late 90s, mid to late 90s, facilities were huge, but it's still. Once you get there, you begin to realize that you're only there for 3 to 5 years, depending on if you're going to leave early or whatever. It's your home, but you don't get to take it with you. So, like, I was in a unique position because I was there at Tech when we were really outdated, right? The old weight room, the Merriman had not been built yet, and they needed upgrades. And shout out to the late great Jim Weaver, the former AD at Tech, who when he came in, he had previously worked at Penn State in Florida.
Yep.
And he said to us, we were not ready. The facilities weren't national championship worthy. So my last year, they built the Merriman Center and ended up being really, really great at the time, one of the premier spots. And it was nice to have all the little perks as a player that you wanted, a more upgraded weight room. That weight room was really nice. And I think we like that. We love that. But I don't think, to your point, you're spot on. I don't hear kids that I talk to in football and basketball rave about their visit. I mean, you can go to LSU and talk about how beautiful this is and this or whatever, but it's not yours. It's kind of like renting an apartment. I lived in Blacksburg. I remember when I was there, I'm showing my age again, but Collegiate Suites was the new apartment complex everybody wanted to live in. I lived there for a year, maybe 2. And it was really nice because it had the 4-bedroom, the suite, the kitchen. It was real big and nice, but you slowly realize that's where you stay, but you're not taking it with you. So
right,
it's really all about the bag. It's really all about making sure you get paid. And I don't blame kids because I was talking to somebody the other day. They were talking about my era and what we did for the program. But like, especially for like football, you graduate, you get your degree. I got 2, but at the same time, you're really putting your body and your life on the line. While coaches get a lot of money and a lot of get perks, and you walk away with the legacy and pride, but you don't get any money. And then many of these guys go into the real world, and they have to hit the reset button, and that's hard. From a mental health standpoint. A lot of men and women go through an adjustment period, a depression. So facilities are cool, but you on the visits, they show you all the stuff, but it's not yours.
No, that's a great way to put it, because you're looking at it strictly from the player's perspective, right? And it's not yours. And, and it's all that Franklin talks about, right? He talks about how things look. They don't look the way they need to look. And maybe that's because Tech's facilities were so, in terms of what he's used to, are so behind the times. I don't know, but that in most places they're not. You don't hear about it as much anymore. You just.
Franklin's right. Franklin's right as far as needing the upgrades. I heard the end of your segment talking about Castle for basketball. I mean, Castle, when the fans are rocking, it's a tough place to play. But it is outdated. It does need an upgrade. The seats, the atmosphere. But I mean, when Tech has a good product in basketball, you look back at that UVA overtime win when Ben Hammond went crazy. The crowd was crazy, and you kind of forget that Castle is not this upgraded new age arena. But at the same time, you do need your presentation to look good. You need, you want
Sure.
you want your spread to be admirable. You want it to look good. And I think that's what Franklin's referring to as far as presentation. You want it to be something where people are like, hey man, I was just in Blacksburg and it was amazing. And it was just a great game day atmosphere. But I think one thing, I'm old school on some stuff, new school on other stuff. For me, I'm going to always be old school where nothing to me impresses me more than a win. You beat Miami at Miami. Miami, I listen to your show when I'm not on. Miami is a great example of they have always been in a pro player environment. Like,
that's a great point. Yeah.
They play in the NFL stadium. They're surrounded by all those major league NFL, NBA teams, or, as far as pro team, that's a pro sports town. The same way Maryland, as I told you, is in a pro sports town. And they have all this stuff, but what happened in Miami is what made them great was the mystique. I played in the old Orange Bowl. When you went into the old Orange Bowl, there was mystique. And it was really outdated and antiquated. And many people speculated that when they tore the old Orange Bowl down, that's when Miami lost their mystique. Kind of like if you look at Duke basketball, I've been to Cameron Indoor Stadium a few times for games. It is very small.
It's a rat hole. Yeah.
But you walk in, you feel
you do
the spirit of Christian Laettner. Not that he's gone, but you go in and you're like, wow, this is Cameron. Whether you love or hate him, there's mystique there. Same thing with UNC. It used to be. I mean, UNC's still a great program, and this is not to take shots at Hubert Davis or anything, but UNC with their big arena or whatever, it doesn't have the same mystique as the old. It's what happens. It's a fine line between upgrading and bringing in resources and making your program marketable versus losing that mystique. And that's just my 2 cents. That's why I said there's nothing that's going to change my opinion on wins.
No, I like it. That's it. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you think Miami, maybe it's a silly question. I think you're 100% right. They lost the Orange Bowl, that aura. They kind of went. Do you think they'd have been better served to have a college campus stadium awaiting them if they would have had a plan or the money, right? And they could have said, hey, we're leaving here. Now the Canes have their own place. You think that would have maybe helped them live up to all these expectations they've had for 20 years in the ACC?
That's a great question. I mean, I've always felt like, when you watch Miami play, Andy Bitter, Andy, if you pay attention, Andy's a troll. He trolls a lot. Andy, and even Mike Barber and David Till especially Andy would take pictures of the stadium, 30 minutes before kickoff, and it's half filled. It's not really that many people there. Where you look at Lane Stadium, a smaller stadium, but still a great stadium, holds right under 70,000. And 3 hours before kickoff, it's packed and people are tailgating because it's a college atmosphere type of environment. Miami, when they have a big game against a Notre Dame or Florida State, it's packed. But if they're not a national championship contender and they're just a good team, that stadium is not going to serve them well. It's not. Now, if they got a good crowd, and it's a big game, ABC is there, and they're playing another ranked team, it's going to be a great crowd. But I just feel like there's something to be said about having your stadium, sharing it. I've never really understood that. Kind of like, again, you can find other places like what the Clippers and Lakers used to do. When you share stadiums or other people in there, it never really feels like it's yours. Which is why I feel like sometimes in many cases, those college teams that share a stadium in a pro player environment, it doesn't always work for them. You look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is got Narduzzi's program, great program, hard-nosed, tough. I don't know what they call it now. It's not Heinz, but when they have a great crowd, it's really rocking. But sometimes you go there or you watch them and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like, I think like if Pitt had a stadium like Lane Stadium where it was around 70,000, and it was Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh students and fans, it would be really, really tough to win there. It's tough to win there now, but not. It's tough for Tech to win there, but not everyone else.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Tech doesn't. I think Tech has only won there once, and that was with Fuente, and then the other time was with Mike when Mike was there. My cousin, when they went there, I think it was a Thursday night, and he just decimated their whole defense. Him and Andre Davis and Sharon Stitt. But you know, Georgia Tech is another one. They have their own stadium.
Yep.
But they're in a pro area, pro player.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's an NBA, and I don't even really know what Atlanta is because Atlanta has so much going on. It's arts and music and concerts and events going on, and the NBA, because the Atlanta Hawks, they're playing better ball now. But the joke on them used to be you can go down to the day of the game and get a courtside ticket. So I don't know. I'm old school when it comes to. I like college towns, college football stadiums, basketball arenas for the school, not the whole area. But everything, as you've been talking about the last 3 years and beyond, is about that dollar. So you got to make money, man. That's why they're not going to give some of these schools their own stadiums.
Well, and I know it's tough for fans to adjust, but I was mentioning I've talked to coaches in our league, basketball coaches I have a lot of respect for, and they said, Rick, it's worse now. It's strictly about the money. You can show them, you can take them around your gym, you can show them meet our strength coach, you can talk about the bottom line is the conversation, that final conversation, you bring them back to the office is, all right, so what are we looking at here? It's almost like they listen, but they're not hearing it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it I mean, it is really crazy how this has really changed. But I got a kid I know personally. He just when my son went to high school, Patriot High School here in Prince William County in Gainesville, Nokesville area. He's a senior, just graduated from Patriot. And he's going to either a D2 or I think a D3. And he was on TikTok and he posted how he just found out the whole coaching staff, the head coach and a couple of assistants that recruited him, they left. So he doesn't know who his coach is going to be, and he doesn't really know how they're going to use him. They just left right around the 4th of July. So you think about it works both ways because those coaches you're talking to are not lying, but at the same time, they're out to get their check too. And that's, you talk about Almation. Almation was, you and I, we do the pop on Thursday nights. I jump on. I've been on there like 3 times.
Oh, it's great. We're doing it again tomorrow, so come on by. Summer blockbusters. We're going to talk about those.
and Almation talked about he's only made this much money in his career.
Yeah.
And you think about his impact on Virginia Tech, UVA, and hundreds other schools as far as his influence on other coordinators. And you got to be honest with you, Almation, that was his job, but I never felt like, even especially now as a grown man, I never felt like Bud Foster and Almation coached for the money. I just never felt like they were like.
That's a great point. Yeah.
You could tell in the passion how they talk and they break down scheme and they evaluate players and how they love this kid and he was my favorite player. Not saying guys that coach now don't do that, but if you take a step back, when Jay Wright and Krzyzewski and Roy Williams and other coaches, Tony Bennett, a guy who I always loved, when they started stepping down, you saw and you continue to see a lot of movement also in the coaching ranks, because I feel like even going back to Gary Williams, when you saw it changing even way back then with Maryland basketball, I think a lot of coaches are like, I'm going to get paid. This is what I love, but this is getting harder. And now you see coaches moving around. I mean, look at the guy that dipped out on Michigan. He just left. Well, they got a lot of stuff going on in Michigan. But that recruiting class, I got a friend that coaches for Team Durant, the AAU power here in the DMV. And he was like, crazy thing, Vic, the coach from Michigan was just at our game. And then 2 days later, recruiting, and then 2 days later, he's in the NBA or he's leaving because of, well, whatever. We don't know yet. But
we don't know yet. Yeah.
The movement also means money. because guys are moving, women are moving, the coaches are moving, and everybody's out to get what they want to get. And at times, many times, the sport and the fans suffer. It is what it is. You just got to adjust, man. I watch games, and I might even do a parlay or two. But even with parlays now and all of that, every time I look, there's college athletes and NBA and NFL players getting busted. But like I'm watching The Sopranos or something, or Goodfellas, man. What's everybody doing, yo? Is everybody cheating? Can we not get honest games anymore?
I know. I asked that question. I know. I have that thought. I ask the question all the time: is anything we're watching real anymore?
It just doesn't. I mean, boxing, MMA, baseball. It just, World Cup. I mean, I don't know soccer, but I see stuff. I hear soccer aficionados talking about. It's not right. It's just everything's. Again, I'm not bitter. I'm not the old guy on the porch like back in my day.
No.
I just know that cheating and different things have always gone on. Money has always been a factor, but I feel like it's kind of getting overwhelming sometimes. It's just changing. I'm excited because football season's on the horizon. Media days coming up. I've done a few media days for the ACC, but I don't know what to expect, man. And some of these coaching hires, or some of these, you were doing a great job breaking it down. The ACC is an interesting conference, which is why I'm hopeful for Tech, because it's very winnable because of all the movement with coaches. Some of these programs, how disappointing it is to hear about Boston College only won a couple of games last year in football. You talk to your listeners and your viewers, and they will tell you, the long-time ones, Boston College used to be, especially during the Big East days and the early ACC years, was a very, very, very good program.
Every year.
Yep. They had linemen. They always had those big boys up front, some tight end named Jaworski or something.
right.
And it's just like, and now it's almost like a given win. That's another program that you got to recruit well because it's tucked away around the Patriots, the Celtics, the Red Sox. It's a great stadium, a great campus. But if you don't get the recruits, especially with NIL, you don't have the money. Boston College, you see, is kind of suffering.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, I agree. And, to your point about soccer, you're right. Because my whole thing is I just read about it. I don't watch it, but people on X from all over the world are now saying that this whole thing has been fixed. Just like we do about our sports. They're like, they don't understand some of the calls, how FIFA ignores certain things. And they think this whole thing is just set up. And I'm like, see, it's worldwide, man. It's not just our sports. It's everywhere.
Yeah, man, it is. I speak on what I know. I threw soccer in there because of what you're talking about. I read stuff on X. I read articles. I hear people that really cover soccer. I'm like, Jesus, but that's just the way it is, man. Like, I got friends, man. Late 40s and 50s in age, and they're sitting here preparing themselves for the football season, NFL, and they're talking about their teams and the Ravens and the Cowboys and the Commanders and the Giants. I'm like, I don't know how y'all do it. They were like, what do you mean? I said, I play fantasy. I'll place a little better too, but I'm not getting emotionally invested in these grown men that will drop 2 passes and then go in the media day or a post-game interview and say, I need more targets.
Yeah, right. That's right. That's exactly right.
I can't get emotionally invested in a game in which, I'm telling you, man, I've been close to the NFL for years, just with all the people I played against, friends that coach. And I'm telling y'all, man, enjoy it, but these players don't give a damn about you. They don't. Not like when I was a kid and you ran into Gary Clark and Art Monk and they lived in Northern Virginia and Maryland and they were part of your community. And those guys, after losses, divisional games, would cry and be hurt and be mad and slam their helmet.
Right.
Now after the game, thanks for joining us today. That's your final. San Diego 17, Denver 31. And you see the players holding up jerseys, smiling. and they're like this. I'm like, what the hell? They happy? You know why? Because they get paid regardless.
They get paid. That's exactly
just like
right.
Almation said. Do not. I ain't never felt sorry for Fuente. When Fuente left, he still got. Oh, there it is. My direct deposit. He got paid.
100%. 100%.
He got paid. I'm still waiting on my check from Fairfax County. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't feel sorry. Oh man, and I love Pride. Pride's my guy. But if Franklin didn't get him back, he was gonna get paid, and he's getting paid now. We got people that were on X going back and forth. Meanwhile, Pride and his lovely family were vacationing.
That's right. With
what
easy
you feel
money.
bad for?
With easy
Meanwhile,
money.
man.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, and what you said is true. The players don't care about the fans. You know what? Coaches no longer really care about their fan bases either, because they're coming in getting that money, just what you said, right? They come into a place they don't know anything about. You can even use Franklin as an example. Do you really think Franklin cares about the Tech fan base? Right?
Well,
he hadn't had time to. And it's that way. You think Lane Kiffin cares about LSU's fan base other than he knows he has to placate them, right? Right?
Yeah, definitely Lane Kiffin. I mean, yeah, Lane Kiffin is a wild guy, man. I mean, it's just a different time because, the connection you have with, especially in college sports, with the fans and the student body is essential. But, to be honest, man, Franklin, there is a big contingency of fans, a large number of fans that if he doesn't win games, even this year in his first year, they're going to be on his ass. Pause. They're going to be on him. They're going to be on him because of what he's done, the reputation he holds in winning and building programs. And people are going to assume that it's just a light switch. You flip it, and the same things happen at Tech, which are very doable in a weaker conference compared to the Big Ten. But at the same time, kids have got to be healthy. As I said before,
right.
A lot of these kids have won at Tech on the high school level, but none of them have ever understood and learned how to win on the Division I level. Like, I was a winner in high school. It was state championship or bust when I came. When I got to Tech, I learned to take my work ethic and my football IQ to a higher level. The football IQ at Tech and the winning has not been shown. These guys, if you were watching Tech and you weren't a Tech fan, you looked at Tech on your schedule. So yeah, we got that game, man. They trash, because that's what they've been.
Right.
So you're not going to sit here and tell me Franklin's job is easy, because these guys don't know how to win on the Division I level. When I got to Tech, we were still learning how to win. You had Maurice Shiseizo, Jim Pine, those guys. They won 9 games. The following year, when I got there as a red shirt, we finished second in the conference, went to the Gator Bowl, lost to Peyton Manning at Tennessee. There was some coaching changes at the time. Gary Tranquil, the OC, left. And then, of course, everybody knows what happened in 95. So by the time Andre Davis, Ricky Hall, Mike Vick, and all those guys, Kevin Jones, got there, they were like, oh, damn, Tech's won the conference 2 or 3 times. They beat Miami 4 years in a row. This is the expectation. We were happy to beat Cal in overtime. This is a program that just lost to UVA, a very good UVA team, but not a dominant program. But so even that streak is over. So what are you holding your hat on to? You're holding your hat on banking on Franklin's pedigree and history. It has to transition to Virginia Tech's pedigree and current state of affairs. And right now, Virginia Tech's current state of affairs is an underwhelming, underachieving program that will get a holding call to negate a touchdown, that misses an assignment and gives up a big touchdown play. That can't happen this year. That can't happen at Maryland. That can't happen at Boston College. That can't happen home against Pitt. That can't happen at SMU. That can no longer happen, because of 2 things. Your coaching staff should be better, and the money you invest into this program. It can't happen.
No, you're right. You're right. Hey, let me ask you real quick. People are asking in chat, do you think this is the year? I mean, it's hard to know. that the offensive line finally gets fixed in Blacksburg? I know you hear what Moore's saying, and he talks about depth, but is this the year we think it finally gets fixed? It has to if you're going to have success. What do you think?
I've been saying it, man. I'm tired. Shout out to my guy Chris. He comes on the pop. That's my brother. He's down with our boundary cut corner guys.
Yep.
I tell Chris and all the guys all the time. Brian, that you have on from boundary, he knows this. He's a former offensive line. He does a great job on boundary corner breaking it down.
He does.
I hope so. They look the part. They look good. I have been frustrated because of the carousel of offensive line coaches that have been through Blacksburg, from Rudolph to all the people. But even when they were there, our own line was not physical, could not pick up short yardage, and they could not pick up blitz stunts. It's almost like, do y'all even do blitz pickup period in practice? So to me, what I'm looking for is physicality and football IQ. Can you protect? Can you move the pocket? Can you open up holes? Because Jeffrey Overton Jr. doesn't need much. I've known the kid since he was 6 years old. He was one of the few recruits in the last 5 or 6 years. I actually went crazy when he committed.
You did.
Because he was a phenomenal player in high school. And you saw what he did against the great Miami team. If they can protect, and I think they will do better, because I think Virginia Tech offensively will have a scheme that fits their personnel. But I've always felt that offensive line play, as you know, is the key to winning. I think Tech will be improved this year, but I'm not banking on it just yet, because I need to see them in a high-intensity game like at Maryland, where Tech will have a lot of fans there. It will be more of a neutral-type game, because historically, Tech fans have always gone into Maryland Stadium and taken over. But again, you look at great O-line play, it's a marriage between scheme, protection, and the running back and quarterback, meaning everybody has to know their role. But more importantly, the play calling has to fit the scheme and the personnel of the offensive line. So when you had guys like Wyatt Teller and Darisaw, and all those guys were very physical, and they were also athletic. So you could do different things. Even when Fuente was in Tech his first 2-3 years, you had a lot of misdirection and counters and eye candy, but they ran it well. And then when you start not recruiting the offensive line, that's when you saw different things going on. The pushback I always get is, well, Drones held the ball too long, and he just whatever, or he was too quick to leave the pocket. My pushback on that is, he didn't trust his offensive line.
Yeah.
He didn't. You didn't. I mean, you have to have an offensive line. You have to have personnel that knows what they're doing. And many times in the last handful of years when I watched Tech play, their offensive line did not know what the hell they were doing. Guys would be running wide open in the backfield. And the issue we had during the prior era was he didn't bench. And then people say, well, who's he going to go to? We don't know, because he hasn't gone to the backup yet. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. Put him in. Like, let's see what's going on. So I if I can't see the chat clearly, but you ask your chat of people that have been longtime Tech fans, they will tell you they know what an offensive line is supposed to look like. They know when you have horses up front. As great as Kevin Jones was at Virginia Tech, he played behind a very good offensive line. That helps, because running backs like Kevin Jones, Lee Suggs, David Wilson, Ryan Williams, Darren Evans, guys like that, Brandon Orr, they don't need much to get to daylight. They only need like a little opening, and they're Gucci. They're good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, good stuff as always, brother. If you have time tomorrow night, stop on by Pop. We'll be there. Yeah.
I always try to, even if I'm coming from dinner or whatever. I love that, man. I love running my mouth, and those guys you have on are great guys. Y'all need to check for it. It's just a bunch of grown men having a great time vibing,
that's right,
talking trash, but also vibing and breaking down different things. So anyway, man, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the audible. Thank you for letting me.
Thank you for the audible. Appreciate it. I'm going to unveil my schedule prediction tomorrow night too for Tech. So we'll see what you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Can't believe, when is media day for the ACC? When is that?
Now, I guess they're traveling, and then I think it's this week. I think it starts tomorrow. Hits pretty hard tomorrow. I understand, through the weekend. Yeah.
Media Day's cool. I've done 2 of them where I went there. I was on Radio Row. It's interesting, man, seeing the players and coaches up front. It'll be interesting, man, because that's when the lying begins, when everybody starts lying. And that, I can tell you right now, I'm going to save you guys some time. Andy and everybody, Bitter and everybody is going to pick Miami to win the conference. I can tell you that right now.
Yep.
They're going to pick, and that will keep another streak alive, because since I had hair, since the Big East days, it's always, I got Miami. Yeah. Show me something, man. Anyway, all right, man.
All right, man. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, what were you going to say?
I said, we'll see. But Miami, I think now we're seeing after last year's championship game appearance, they may finally be living up to that, looking at the talent they brought in. It may finally be kicking down there. We'll see.
I think it's great for the ACC to have Miami relevant. We need Virginia Tech. We need Virginia Tech and Florida State to get back to relevancy. That's the problem.
100%.
Because Miami, until they got to the national championship game and that they jumped Notre Dame, the thing about it is that if UVA wins that game, Miami doesn't go. And I'm talking about the ACC championship. And the thing about it is that Miami doesn't get credibility because the ACC, in the eyes of the national pundits, is trash. So if Virginia Tech's not good, the usual suspects, they're like, well, who did Miami play? I mean, SMU is helping right now, but you need Pittsburgh, you need Virginia Tech, you need those programs good. Because even with UVA being good last year, everybody felt like they were lucky because they kept winning games at the end, overtime. They kept winning on the last second. So when you win 5 to 6 games like that, people look at you as like, nah, you're lucky. You're not really that good. And as Mike Burnup told you, UVA last year graduated. My sister was there with my nephew. She told me the pregame was like 3 hours long because they graduated like 55 seniors and grad students. Anyway, I'll see you. I'll see you tomorrow, man. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Thanks, man. See you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Take care. All right. Dwight Vick joining us on the program. Appreciate his audible. And we go right in. Like we call it an audible. Joining us now on the program, it's Matt Roan, Director of Athletics at Radford, at James Madison. Oh, we lose him. No, we lost him. Yeah, he was there for a second. I think the same link will work, Matty. Check it out and see. I think Overton will be the starting running back. I think Overton is the most talented back, and I think he has a chance to be spectacular. I really do. All right, let's see here. There he is, the Director of Athletics of your James Madison Dukes.
That's right.
What's up, Matty? How are you?
I am at Media Day, so I'm down here on Bourbon Street, New Orleans, and Coach Napier and 2 of our student athletes came down, and went to dinner last night and get put through the circuit today.
Oh, well, let's go through the vibe now that JMU football is getting when you're at these media days. You just, you got to be front and center, man. You're the first school in the Commonwealth to go to the college football playoff, a lot of momentum. How's been the reaction, the reception now as you guys, start out media time?
It's been good. Obviously, it's been an exciting off season. From the transition from Bob to Billy to I think we recruited at a very high level coming out of the CFP and that January portal window. A lot of momentum, a lot of positivity, a lot of people patting you on the back. But you're only as good as the next one, right? And so we'll probably get asked a ton of questions today about last year, but I know for Coach Napier, for our program, we've got September 5th circled. That's the next opportunity to go 1-0, and we'll talk about this year. And I think the momentum that we have, the building that we're doing, it's a good time to be at JMU.
What excites you the most when you look at the roster? You mentioned the talent, and I have done a little research. You guys had an unbelievable portal class coming in to that program. What excites you the most when you've talked to the coaches and just the guys have come in about the depth? I think your depth seems like it's deeper than it's ever been for a JMU.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to talk to one of our offensive linemen yesterday on the way down, right? And he was with us last year. Obviously, he's returning this year. And so, I point blank asked him, How does this team compare to last year, right? We're sitting on the plane and kind of looking at one another. And, I think last year we knew we were good at this point, right? You knew you were good in July, you knew you were good in August, but it was the win after win, the kind of, just persevering throughout the year that you start to look up and think, oh my gosh, this is a pretty special team. But, what he talked about was they knew this point last year that they were a very close team. To me, that's where success comes from in this portal era. You have a lot of talented teams, you have a lot of deep teams, but it's which coaches, which coaching staffs can make it gel, right? Can make it go together, because you really are coaching 12 months at a time. It used to be, that's a good team and they're a really good program. I think those two things are synonymous right now. I mean, teams and programs change every single cycle. And so, what I was encouraged to hear him say yesterday was, again, just how close we are. But then he also talked about just the talent, the depth, the speed at each position. And I go back again to hiring Coach Napier. His 4-year run at Louisiana, he was known for identifying, recruiting, and developing elite talent. At Florida, right? You watched the NFL draft this past year. There were a lot of Florida Gators that were selected. The problem for Billy was he just wasn't able to have them on the field during the last couple seasons. They had a lot of injuries that they were plagued with, which, unfortunately for him, but fortunate for the Dukes, that's probably what led Billy to JMU. And,
right.
But he is phenomenal at identifying, developing talent. We're a very, very good football team. But I also know, just like last year, you could be good. You got to be lucky and you got to be healthy. And that's the challenge, I think, for every football season and every football team going into every season. Can they accomplish those things?
Well, and along with that, just seeing the culture change around that program. There was an aura watching you guys play. I thought later in the year.
Yeah.
There was not an assumption of winning, but there was an expectation. This is who we are now. You look around what you have spearheaded there. I mean, I just looked it up. Like over the last 2 years, it's over almost $20 million coming into that. I mean, to what you've been able at JMU in terms of fun. So the culture, it is just embracing all this. And it's got to be an exciting time. I know for you personally, this in your third stop, you've done this at every place. You've seen them grow, and it's time to, try another place, and you've built them up. And now here at JMU, you're just continuing and taking it to that next level of culture. And that's what JMU football is now. It's about them winning. That's what it is.
I will give credit always where credit is due. It's my third stop as an AD, but it's the first stop where I would say what I inherited was already great.
Yeah.
I am proud of the fact that I think we've made it even better. We got here in 2024, and I will say there were probably some remnants of an FCS program that still existed. And I think we've supercharged that. I think we have not only become an elite group of 6 program, but, Rick, we benchmark ourselves not against that, but, we say, hey, how can we look and feel and operate, even better than I think a lot of ACC and Big 12 programs, right? That's what we benchmark ourselves against. And now it's a challenge because you don't have the TV money that comes with those leagues.
True.
So we got to be a little bit more creative. And to your point, I think that's where we've got to work overtime and trying to raise money from our fan base, our donor base, our alumni base. But, we've got to look for every other advantage. And we've got some exciting stuff coming out here with mid-campus and our stadium, expansion, and just some stuff that we're doing right there along the interstate, just high visibility. That's going to be massive impact for our student body, our community, and obviously our athletics department as well. But yeah, I think the way you led that question, there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence.
That's right.
It's
different.
And right. You can get humbled in a hurry, but Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Is there's an expectation to win. Um, I learned that very early on. I mean, there is no grace given to kind of ease your way into it. And um, you know, Coach Chez's first year, you go 8-4 in the regular season, 9-4 with the bowl game. For a lot of programs, that's a huge success. For ours, it was an off season of disappointment, of frustrations. Um, and we knew we should have been better than that. And fortunately, we were able to follow it up with 12-2 in the CFP. I go back to going through the coaching search. There were two candidates that I visited in person on back-to-back nights. Um, and obviously Billy was first. Felt really good about that one. The second one, I won't say who, but I asked two questions at the very end. And one was, what excites you the most about our program? And it was, the answer was game day. It's the fact that when you come out of the tunnel, it's always sold out, right? Just the passionate fan base. And I said, well, what concerns you about our program? And it was pretty much the same answer. It was that the fans show up, they support, and they don't think 6-6 and 7-5 is a good year. And my response to that was, you're exactly right, right? And what that said to me was that individual person, right, probably couldn't live up to the expectations and the standard of success that this place has enjoyed, and obviously we're trying to enjoy right now because we know what it leads to in the future. So um, it's a great place to be, and fortunate to be a part of it.
Well, you said something there, Matt, that's interesting. Obviously an FBS program, but you said that, but there's still remnants of the FCS that needed to. Can you talk about that, what you recognize, right, coming from where you came from to JMU? Because now this thing is full throttle.
Yeah.
Away from that now, but that's a very interesting thing to think about, how you identified that. Okay, we don't need to be that anymore. We've got aspirations to be up here.
Yeah, and again, I go back. I feel like every answer that I'm saying today is that's why we hired Coach Napier. But um, we needed somebody to show him the way, right? I knew that we were still had remnants of the FCS. Not because I had been at the Power Four and came here and said, whoa, I've never seen this before. I knew that we were FCS because I had been at Nichols and EKU, and I came here and I said, man, there's a lot of things that we were doing at my previous place that were actually better, right? In terms of, full disclosure, like the operating budget from football wasn't vastly different. But then you start to look at how we travel. The infrastructure, the number of people that are in the building. You know, during the 2024 and 2025, I'll say seasons, our, let's say 10 on-field assistant coaches, they were still doing all of the player evaluations. So we really didn't have a personnel area that was doing that for them, that was delivering like, hey, here's the names that we need to focus on. Here's the players that you need to watch. And so they were really working double time, right? Not as efficient as we needed to be. We weren't, I think, FBS with our nutrition area, right? We were just saying, hey, students have meal plans, go ahead and go eat, right? Without recognizing the output. And so, for us, that's where a lot of our investment areas have been, how we travel, how we kind of service our student athletes every single day in the forms of nutrition, what we're doing from an equipment standpoint, what we're doing in strength and conditioning. And so that's where I feel like we have made so much progress, incredible progress, right? When you walk into our building, I don't think you would know whether you were at JMU as a member of the Sun Belt or JMU as a member of the ACC, right? I think what you would feel and see resembles Wake Forest, right? Resembles Boston College, Syracuse, Duke, those that are kind of in our footprint, and maybe more privates kind of in that space than even, some of the large publics, even though we're a public. But all that said, right, the balance, and again, Coach Napier and I talked about this on the plane last night, is you can do all those things, right? You can grow. you can invest, but never lose sight kind of what got you there. Our DNA is not this notion of FCS, but there's something about how we were operating that we got to make sure that we don't abandon. And I think that though is that blue collar approach. Um, you know, you're not going to do it with all the bells and whistles, but what you're going to have, like the facility that you occupy, the way that you operate, you want to do more with more, but never lose that sight of we're going to beat you no matter what. Um, we're not going to let anything be an excuse as we pursue excellence.
No, I think it makes perfect sense. And, today when constantly schools at the P4 level are just saying, hey, we need more and more money without any really identity behind it. How much is it aided? Because you've set records everywhere you've gone, Nichols. You just read up on those numbers, what you did at EKU, and now what you're doing at JMU. But it seems like there's more of an identified, this is why, right? How much has that aided you and all the stops you've been so successful at raising money to have a specific goal that you can share with potential, supporters and so forth?
Yeah, I think we've, that's a really good question. I think we raise money to pour into people. And I think what I mean by that is, I mentioned operating budget increases, right? That comes on the backs of someone, right? We had to ask people to help us get there. So, we're raising money to say, make the student athlete experience as good as we possibly can, right? At the end of the day, that's what we're all in this business for, right? That's our North Star, is to make sure that when our student athletes walk in the building and in the moment that they leave it, every single moment in there, we're doing something that's contributing to their success. And that's beyond football. That's beyond their sport, right? What are we doing for them from a student athlete services standpoint, sports medicine, strength conditioning, student athlete leadership development? In this day and age, right? And we're focused on it probably more than anything else right now. It's what are we doing to invest in the enhanced benefits, right? The rev share. How are we being creative with, we don't have necessarily above the cap deals, but what are we doing in that third party NIL space?
Sure.
To me, we raise a lot of money. We certainly did it at Nichols. I feel like every dollar that we raised helped transform an athletics facility. At EKU, it was much of the same. And, while we've been focused on people, the last couple of years here, that's really about to flip for us. And we're going to be not going to be flipped. It's going to be added to. We're going to have to raise a significant sum to realize again what we want to do in this mid-campus development. We put that on that RFP. We're not talking about a multi-million-dollar investment in the middle of campus, Rick. We're talking multi-billion-dollar. Now that's beyond just athletics, right? Athletics is going to be a centerpiece of that.
Sure.
We're doing some pretty cool stuff in that public-private partnership space, but obviously, we're going to have a portion of that we need to go get to make it a reality. But I think just trying to say that it benefits us, it's the cost of success. It's what you try to raise it on values and not just throwing your money at something that doesn't have a return.
Absolutely. All right, you're getting some chat questions here. First of all, Matt, Richard Fisher says, "Hey, Matt," your old friend Richard says hello.
Tell Richard I said hello too. Well, I guess I can tell him I'm talking.
Yeah, you can tell him exactly. Also, what's the updated seating capacity for Bridgeforth with the renovations to come? Must be a JMU fan there, huh?
Yeah, so we announced 25. We're actually a little bit kind of shy at that in true actual seats, right? We've got some SRO that gets us there when we say we're at 26,000 people every single home game. That includes a lot of different things. But one of the things that we want to do, I will say, we always want to come out making sure that I would rather have 35, 40,000 seats and every single one of them full instead of 65. And we've got these big pockets of empty spaces, right? I think you're seeing, when I say the industry, I would say live sports, right? You're competing with TV. You're competing with so many different things now. You're not seeing even NFL stadiums be built with 80, 90,000 seat
That's
capacities, right? You're seeing the Browns, the Titans, some of these recent things, right? They're coming back, actually down. Nevertheless, we need more seats. We need to accommodate our fan base. I hate telling people, hey, we're sold out. We don't have room for you. I hate telling our students that, certainly. And every single Monday before home games, when we're putting student tickets on sale, that's my least favorite thing to do, is to start getting emails from students and parents saying, I didn't get a ticket for that week's game. So we know we that have to have that capacity increase. We're probably going to be at the bottom. When I say this, and I'll explain what it is that we're trying to do, it's pretty innovative. Probably going to be in the mid 30s with our capacity, which again, you talk about the Dukes, the Wakes, the SMUs of the world, right? That puts us in that ballpark, right? That's where their capacities are. But we want to do something, Rick, that everybody talks about: dynamic ticket pricing, right? Depending on the game, your ticket might be $50 or it might be 75, right? Depending on the opponent, the time of the year, what the theme is, homecoming, family weekend, all those sorts of things. We're going to do something, or we're trying to do something called dynamic capacity. And right, we want to develop a 360-degree concourse all the way around the stadium, right? You start on one side, you could walk around the whole thing. And that's going to have a lot of different standing room only and premium kind of hospitality spaces. And so in our south end zone, on top of what we call the Plecker Center, it is a 2-story building right now. We're looking at, do we have the opportunity to make that a kind of beer garden? My words, not the president's.
Sure.
But can we create something like that where, depending on the game, we could open that up? We could host 2,000, 3,000 people there. But if we don't need it, we don't have to open it up, right? And then all of a sudden, you've taken that capacity from 35 to that weekend, you're at 38, 39, right? So I think we're going to be in that mid 30s to high 30s, depending on the game and what we're doing with some of that capacity stuff.
Well, it sounds familiar to what Northwestern's got. This beautiful Ryan Field looks just amazing, but they kept it at 35,000 because they want to accommodate common sense fan base expectations, but they want to give their fans, like you're saying, the greatest experience they can. Sure, it's going to be the smallest stadium in the Big Ten, but what did it matter? They were in almost a 50,000 seat stadium. Just what you're saying, they looked around and the thing is over, third empty. What kind of a home field event? Now, this is going to feel more like, an experience for the fans. So it makes a lot of sense. This is a brand new stadium they spent almost $900 million on. And, well, they're trying to do exactly what you just described. So,
no doubt.
Yeah. So you're down in New Orleans. The food. I got to ask you. What's on the menu, man? What come on.
Well, we went to. I'm looking at the receipt right now. We went last night to dinner. I'm going to butcher it, but I think its name is Desi Vejas. It's a steakhouse down here, and we had a good time. I had a really good steak, Oscar style with some crab meat on it. I tell you, the two best things that I ate last night were the appetizers. When you come to New Orleans, there's nothing better than the charbroiled oysters. So we had charbroiled oysters. And I actually called my wife about this last night. I had a piece of shrimp wrapped in crab meat, wrapped in bacon. And it was dipped in sweet and sour sauce. That might be the single best thing that I've ever eaten in my life. I had to stop myself at one, and only because I had to share with other people at the table. So I enjoyed it while I was eating it, but I enjoyed it more watching them eat it. But it was good stuff. But no, we've got a busy day today. I don't know how much we'll be able to get out and enjoy Desi Vejas again. But it's always good to come down here.
So wait a minute. A piece of shrimp wrapped in crab that was then subsequently wrapped in bacon.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you bring some of this back to the state? I'll make a 2-hour trip down the interstate and come see you.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. I might sneak up. I might sneak that up. It was good.
Rodney Young, real quick, Matty says, Matt, thank you so much for bringing high school state championships to JMU. Class 5 and Class 6 come December. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, we had that. We've had that the last couple of years. We would love to host more than just football Class 5 and Class 6. This year we were able to host, and we do. We hosted the VHSL state track meet. I think classes 1 and 2. So my buddy Travis was in town. His son runs for Radford, and so we were able to spend some time together that day and watch his son Tucker run. But for us, it's beyond athletics, right? Those opportunities to host state championships. There's some student athletes that might end up competing for JMU one day. There's a whole lot of kids though that might end up just coming to school at JMU one day, right? And sometimes playing for a state championship is the first chance that they've ever had to be on a college campus. And that's a tremendous opportunity to show off, what a special place it is. So anytime we can do that, that's good. And
to show off how much JMU is continuing each and every year to improve itself, right? To kind of showcase what you guys have building. So it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. That's a good spot.
Yeah, it is. I understand that Travis guy's, got a good deal going on right now for his professional door up there with $40 off. 40 years in business. Now you've known him that long, right? Since you guys were
I have known him since 8th grade. I've known Travis a long time, so I don't even know how many years that is. Probably 35, I guess now almost. 30 at least. Yeah, we've known each other for a long time.
Well, it's great to see you again, my friend. Congratulations on everything. And have fun now. When do you guys come home? How long is this today, tomorrow? Or is it just today?
The East Division goes today, which obviously is us. The West Division is tomorrow. So no, we were on a private plane out of Bridgewater yesterday down here. Got here yesterday afternoon. Took the guys out, had a good time with them, just relaxed a little bit, and then we'll head back as soon as obligations are done today. We'll get on a plane and land back in the Commonwealth tonight and get back at it tomorrow.
League's going to be good, isn't it? I mean, people having to rise up to your standards. Just say it the way it is. I mean, that the league's going to be good. It's going to be the best it's ever been this year.
Yeah, and we've got a pretty tough go at it, right? We got 12 good games. Non-conference, you get Liberty at home in week 1. We know what they invest, right? What they commit to it. Football's important there. It's going to be a tough game. They're talented. They're well coached. We go to San Diego State that if they're not picked to finish first in the Pac-12, the new Pac-12, they'll probably be picked to finish number 2, number 3. So that's going to be a tough game in San Diego. We get UConn late in November, which is independent but really, really good, right? Jason Candle was at Toledo, now he's at UConn.
Yep.
They committed a lot of things, right? The University of Connecticut, right? So they don't slouch in terms of their investment.
No.
Inside the league, obviously, I think when you're talking about the East, Marshall's always going to be tough. ODU is really, really good, really well coached. It's important to both of those teams, right? So there's some chippiness that's always associated with that one when they come to us or we go to them. App is App. Georgia Southern is Georgia Southern. I think Coastal is much improved. Georgia State is always going to be incredibly talented.
Always.
On the west side of the league, we go to Hattiesburg and Southern Miss on a Thursday night. We played 3 Thursday night games, national TV in a row this year. And then we get Troy at home, who is picked to win the west side of the division as well. So it's not easy, but I do think we're built for it. And I think we'll show the resolve that we need and hopefully the grit and determination to do, I don't want to say exactly what we did last year. But I think we put ourselves in a position as a program to every single year, I think, be in that conversation come November, right? I leaned over and asked Billy last night at dinner. So what is it about the 12 months, right? What is your favorite part of the calendar? Is it training camp? Is it recruiting? His answer was November, right? I love coaching in meaningful, contending championship implication football games. And that's the goal for every year, is to get to that point where it's all on the line at those moments. And I think we'll be there.
Yeah, well, and that's where his program in Louisiana excelled, right? I mean, those late season games. That's right. So it makes sense.
Play for 4 championships in 4 years. So
that's not bad, is it?
All I ask him is just do it again, man, and we're good.
Oh, all right, man. Stay safe. Have a safe flight home. Give Coach our best. And now you got me thinking about shrimp, crab, and bacon. Thanks.
There might have been something else on it, but when you got shrimp, bacon, and crab meat, I was sold.
It doesn't really matter what else is there. That's right. That's it. Right. All right, brother. Keep on keeping on. All right,
I appreciate you. Good to be with you, man.
All right, man. Be good. There you go. Matt Rohde, Director of Athletics for the James Madison Dukes. Great guy. And it's going to be an exciting season there, what he has done. At all 3 stops, by the way. The totality of his work is incredible. Nichols, EKU. I got to experience some of the EKU stuff because Radford, we played down there, and that's when I first met in person, and everybody. I mean, I walked into the building, and hey, you're from Virginia. Do you know anything about Pulaski County? And I said, a little bit. Yeah. I kind of grew up there. What? Oh, so you know our AD? I said, well, I know who he is. Yes. We can't. I mean, people were just falling all over themselves, talking about Matt Rohde and all the people down there. And now here he is in JMU, and they're coming off the college football playoff. Keep in mind, answer the trivia question forever. Which school out of the state of Virginia was the first to ever participate in the college football playoff? The James Madison Dukes. All right, great stuff as always. Thanks to all of our guests today. Yeah, Damian, he got caught up in travel. But thanks to Keon, he was great. Dwight Vick, thanks DV. We'll see you tomorrow night on Pop. Thanks to Matt Rowe. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what Thursday's going to look like yet because we got a lot of adjusting going on with the schedule. So we'll let you know. Thanks to everybody in chat. Thanks to our great sponsors. Don't forget, Professional Door. Call them up today. Don't wait. You got July. That's it. $40 off your preventative maintenance for your garage doors. Get it done. 674-0008. Tell them you heard us talking about it here on the program, and you'll immediately have $40 taken off the top. We'll see you tomorrow on the Thursday edition, everybody. Thanks for the Hump-Day support. Now we're sliding over. We got this thing licked, although we will not, most of us have, shrimp, crab, and bacon. I digress. Take care, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.